Hello everyone! Welcome back to another video from Learner's Path Philippines. Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. And today we have with us an inspiring guest, and that is Dr. Abby Hamilton. Now, I'll give a very short introduction of her. She is a three-time TEDx speaker on finding our voice and our power across different cultures. She is also the author of the book Speak Up, Anak. She is also an industrial and organizational psychologist, and one of her notable works is that she conducted a study to find the link between holding on to our Filipino cultural norms and being assertive. So hopefully you didn't miss out on anything. Now I'll give the honor to Dr. Abby to officially introduce herself.
Oh, yes. Hi, Zinc. Thank you so much for having me. You got a lot of my highlights there. Thank you for doing the research on that. I am from Tampa, Florida, here in the United States with my three children and my college sweetheart of 28 years. And I have a second generation Filipino American. So my parents came here from the Philippines, Malabon and Manila, and raised. I was born in New York and raised here in Florida. So my culture is a combination of all those different things. And there's so many of us here who are second gens and just like you, Zinc, and from all parts of the world who are trying to navigate these changes from country to country, from culture to culture, family to family, trying to make the best of ourselves, speak up, and to succeed in this world.
It's amazing. And I love the way that you shared your experience and your past as well in your book, Speak Up, Anak. And in your sample, I read that you went to a college after high school that had few Asians and no Filipino related activities. So at times like that, how did you persevere and practice your Filipino culture?
Well, right before I went to college, I was very involved in the Filipino folk dance group here in Tampa. So I knew my culture. I was part of the Philippine Independent Catholic Church with my dad as the bishop. So very, very involved in all different aspects of my life in the Filipino culture. And then I went to this place. And I will tell you, being just an 18-year-old in college, I didn't. I didn't advocate, promote my culture. I didn't speak up. I just watched the world around me, tried to get along with others and fit in as much as possible. It's all about survival and finding your place. So I was still learning my identity. And over time we would joke around. If some of us were being silly, I would take a glass and I would balance it on my head and then do my fandango, at a party, and they always thought, "Oh, Abby's so cute." And then it was my senior year when uh, uh, a multicultural student union finally started, and they asked me to speak. They asked me to dance. And I actually talk about this in my third TEDx talk. What happened was I put my costume on and I started walking across the middle of the campus to the building where that event was. And I was wearing my costume, and someone said to me, "What the hell are you wearing?" And I wanted to cry. I wasn't ready for it. And I had to, I had to tell her, this is for the Philippine dance that I'm doing at the event tonight. And I really felt very strange. I eventually ended up with friends that accepted me for the strange, different things that other people were not comfortable with. And those became my best friends, and they still are to this day, including my husband. While there were so many people around me who just didn't know what to take of this different kind of behavior, a different kind of traditions that I had. So I think that in this world, you have to find those people who will appreciate it, and they make them your best friends, because then you can really feel yourself and you can really be proud. And then as you get stronger, go out into this world and teach those people who don't know. Make them a little uncomfortable with the happiness you bring with your lumpia in your plate, and the happiness that you bring. I've been wearing modern Filipiniana at work, and and at different places in the community, so showing my Filipino attire, traditional terno sleeves, with a business suit, and showing them that this is a little bit of my culture, who I am, and be proud of it. And people will say, what is that? And they will start to appreciate it. It's the way that you feel when you share creates the appreciation from others.
That's amazing. And coming from high school and then to college and then now into your PhD, I heard that you conducted a study with 473 Filipino Americans. And so, what did you discover about holding on to Filipino cultural norms and being assertive? And after you've learned that, how did it impact you?
Yeah. So I did this study, yeah, and I couldn't believe the results. The 473 Filipinos. Well, actually, I could believe it. At first, people were saying that's a really good study. The more you hold on to your cultural behaviors, your cultural norms, are you really assertive or are you not? So there are a lot of people who would say, "Oh, well, Filipinos are assertive." I know a few who can say whatever they want, and then they say, "Oh, it's true, Filipinos have a hard time." So I did find that the more you hold on to your cultural norms, the lower you are in your assertiveness. And there were many Filipinos who were high in assertiveness, but exactly with those people, they were showing low in their cultural norms. So that's why the study was had results that were statistically significant enough to really say this is true. And the result, it's so funny because at the very end, I was just trying to complete my dissertation so I could do a PhD. And I had a Zoom meeting where I said to hundreds of Filipinos, this is the result. So hold it in your heart and don't let it fall upon deaf ears. Thank you. And then at the very end, I said, are there any questions? And somebody said, oh, Dr. Abby, then what can we do? How can we fix it? And I didn't know. I never really, that wasn't part of my plan to give that answer. But I guess that's really what it led to, is the question of, is this just how we are? Is just is the terrible situation we're in, or is there anything we could do about it? So I created a seminar, 4-part seminar series on respectful assertiveness for Filipino Americans, giving them the exact techniques, well, actually the background of why they don't speak up, talking about their cultural values like utang na loob, pakikisama, hospitality, the different things that we do, avoiding confrontation, the different things that we do that are those cultural norms, and then the the different psychological consequences that we deal with, such as model minority myth and perpetual foreigner syndrome. And then I go into the actual relationships and the techniques. So I go through 5 different techniques that will completely make you assertive yet still completely respectful. And when you learn these 5 techniques, you would be amazed all the different ways you can start using them in your life. Every like the second you hear them, you'll go around and you'll feel different, because in a situation you would not typically speak up, even something trivial, like if they don't give you your ketchup for your french fries at the restaurant, and some people will say, oh, that's okay, I'll just eat them like this, it's fine, it's fine. But excuse me, ma'am, I asked for some ketchup, and I was wondering if you could bring that over now so I could eat my french fries. Was that mean? No. Was it a little bit difficult because you typically would say nothing? Yes. But aren't you happy you're eating your french fries with ketchup? Yes. So live a life where you can be free and happy only because you finally spoke up. It's a little hard at first, but then it becomes easier.
Yes. That's great. It's amazing that you came up with the solution as well to keep your Filipino cultural practices and also be assertive as well. That's amazing. And one of the stories that I heard in your TEDx talk was about your story with your boss and how your boss helped you to find your voice when you couldn't find any changes to something. And so I wanted to ask, what would you tell your younger self who hasn't found her voice yet?
I tell her to buy my book. That's the reason I wrote the book. The reason I do any of these talks is because I can't speak to my younger self, but I could speak to all the younger ones like you to change your future life so that we'll be free sooner than mine was. But my biggest thing, I guess I would say, is you have intelligence in that little brain of yours. And in this world, the things you do are valuable and they matter and they can make a difference. You're not just a puppet. And it's time for you to see that your existence in this world is important and is wonderful to the people who will get a chance to meet you. It's just a matter of you opening your mouth and getting your voice out there to share what's in that head, the smart ideas that you have. And people will say, wow, she just helped our situation. She just helped the project for the team. She just helped me in my life by what she has shared. And those are the things that if you don't share, you're you're preventing the blessings that can come from you to others. So start sharing sooner, even though it feels a little funny, and know that what you're saying isn't that you're what you're saying is good. Because sometimes growing up, you had people say, "Oh, what are you talking about there? Just be quiet," or "No one wants to hear what you're saying," or um, "You think you know? You think you know? You don't know. We don't need to hear your ideas." So if you heard that growing up, which a lot of Filipinos did hear growing up from titas, lolas, parents, parents are very strict, so they might not, you know, encourage their child speak and say as much as they could, and it makes us not speak up. So remove those voices that tell you that you can't do it, and know that there's something great for you to share.
It's amazing. I can empathize with that as well. But also with my personal experience, in the Filipino culture, you pretty much have limited say in your own opinions and your ideas, and you shouldn't question authority, especially in the family. So when I was reading your book and also watching your TEDx talk, I wanted to hear from you yourself. How do you balance between being respectful in the Filipino culture while also saying your opinion and ideas?
It starts inside. Like, let's say, for example, there was a project at the in the Filipino organization, right? And then everyone wants to purchase these I don't know, wooden tables and benches, right? And all of them want it. All the titas and the titos, and they're all there, and you're here, and you have to know that from inside, you have to translate it. Originally, you're going to say, I don't want to confront them. I don't want to confront them, right? You have to tell yourself, hey, it's not confronting. You're preventing us from purchasing furniture which will be eaten up by termites.
Mm.
You're preventing us from losing a lot of money. And then we're going to have to buy something after when this wooden table and chairs rots or starts to split, starts to deteriorate. You see a solution that will make everybody happy, and you need to say it. And yes, you have to be okay with the fact that some of them will say, oh, what is she talking about, right? As long as you have the information that a smart person can compare the cost of a wooden bench and chairs and the replacement of the wooden table and chairs versus the expense of one sturdy um, other material. I don't know. I don't know materials like that. Other material, a little bit more expensive, but will last for years, and it doesn't need to be painted. So you show them the details, and as smart people, if they're really smart, they will say, "Oh my goodness, she has a good point." And if they don't, you have to feel good about the fact that you shared the smart thing. And if they chose not to do it, you did everything that you could. Okay. It's about, and it all is about caring. So you say, oh, I don't want to confront my titos and titas. Oh, so you don't care then, huh? No, I care. Well, then you must not care enough to say anything. So caring means saying something. And when you choose not to, I'll even go to the extent of saying, when you choose not to, you're being selfish. You're thinking only about your feelings. You're thinking only about what will people think of me? And you're not caring about the expense, the project, the proper use of the organization's money. You see there? Make your goal the same as their goal, which is to do the right thing. And everyone will see what you're trying to say.
Totally agree with that. It's very true.
Yeah.
You share it shows that you want to do something for them as well. I so agree with that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abby, for that. And lastly, do you have any last minute advice for OFWs and Filipino youth abroad, especially those struggling to be assertive?
Mm, yeah. I would say that where you're in a situation where you're surrounded by different culture than your own, and you're put in different environments where you have to hold your own. First of all, congratulations on making the decision that is going to be best for your family. Um, but secondly, look deep inside and know that if you're a stranger in a different environment, that doesn't make you inferior. It does not make you inferior. So find the the value and the spark of wonderfulness that you have to bring to the world. You see what I'm saying? And see that I'm going to share joy and love and goodness to the others around me rather than, oh, I don't really fit in and I don't know this place and they don't know me. Find your strength within, and then you can bring joy to others. And when you bring joy to others, you'll realize that you're you're not inferior, but you're a light that will be valued by others. And your intelligence will be valued, your ideas, and even your presence once you start to find your purpose in sharing that joy.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abby, for those wise words and your experience as well. And I'd like to end this by sharing something that you wrote as well. And you said, it shouldn't be that elders should say, "Uy, tahimik ka lang dyan, anak." Something like that. Stay quiet there. But you said that it's a new day for us and it's time to speak up, anak. Thank you so much for inspiring the Filipinos around. And thank you so much for being in this coffee chat.
Yeah, you're welcome.